This video is about the structure of a plant cell, animal cell, and a bacterial cell. Cells are the building blocks of living organisms. Some organisms are unicellular, which means their whole body is a single cell. But most of the organisms contain millions of cells. Cells are very small in size. We always need a microscope to observe cells. This is how we can see an animal cell and a plant cell under the light microscope. Some of the structures are common to both cells. For example, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, ribosomes, and mitochondria are found in both plant cell and animal cell. Some structures are found only in plant cells. They are the cell wall, chloroplasts, and the large vacuole. Now we will see their structures and functions in detail. Cell membrane. All cells have a cell membrane around the cell. It is a very thin structure made up of proteins and fats. Therefore, the cell membrane is referred to as a lipoprotein membrane. The function of the cell membrane is to control what goes in and out. This is because cell membrane is a partially permeable membrane. It can actively control the substances moving through it, moving in and out of the cell. Cytoplasm. Now this cell is a 3D structure, so the whole cell is filled with a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. All the other organelles are found embedded in the cytoplasm. In most of the cells, cytoplasm is about 70% water, and in this cytoplasm there are so many chemicals dissolved in it. Most of the metabolic reactions take place in the cytoplasm. The nucleus is where the genetic information is stored. So this genetic information helps the cell to make the right kind of proteins. The information is kept in chromosomes, which are inherited from the organism's parents. Chromosomes are made basically from DNA. Therefore, nucleus is the controlling center of the cell. Chromosomes are long and thin structures that they cannot easily be seen even using a microscope. But when a cell is about to divide, they become short and thick. At that time, using a very good light microscope, chromosomes can be observed. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are found in almost all cells except those of prokaryotes, which means bacteria. Mitochondria can be observed only using an electron microscope. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cell where the aerobic respiration takes place. In cells where a lot of energy is needed, lot of mitochondria are present. For example, in muscle cells, sperm cells, and nerve cells. The structure of a mitochondria contains two membranes which are called inner membrane and outer membrane. Outer membrane controls the entry and exit of materials, and the inner membrane forms many folds where some chemical reactions take place. Endoplasmic reticulum or ER is a complex system of double membranes with a fluid-filled space in between. They help in transporting materials within the cell. Ribosomes are small organelles without a membrane. They are not membrane-bound organelles. Ribosomes are found freely lying in the cytoplasm or sometimes attached to endoplasmic reticulum. The function of ribosomes is protein synthesis. When ribosomes are present attached to ER, they are called rough endoplasmic reticulum or RER. Now we are going to see some structures found only in plant cells. All plant cells are surrounded by a cell wall made of cellulose. Cellulose is a tough material and forms fibers which crisscross over one another to form a very strong covering to the plant cell. Therefore, the cell wall can protect and supports the cell. Because of the cell wall, Even if the plant cell absorbs lot of water, it does not burst. Whereas if an animal cell absorbs lot of water, it can burst. Cell wall is a fully permeable structure, which means it allows even very large molecules to go through it. This is because of the porous material it is made up of. In between these fibers, there are small pores. Therefore, cell wall is a fully or freely permeable structure. Chloroplasts are also found only in plant cells, and they are the sites for photosynthesis. Chloroplasts contain green color pigment called chlorophyll, which is able to absorb light energy. During photosynthesis, glucose molecules are produced and excess glucose molecules are converted to starch. Therefore, chloroplasts often contain starch granules which are made during photosynthesis. The next structure found only in plant cells is a large vacuole. Plant cells have a large permanent vacuole surrounded by a membrane, and this vacuole contains a solution of sugars called cell sap. When the vacuole is fully filled, it presses outwards on the rest of the cell. Thus, it supports and helps to keep the cell in shape. So, vacuole has a function of supporting the cell. Animal cells also have smaller vacuoles, which are also surrounded by a membrane, but they are not permanent. They might contain food or water. This is a comparison between a plant cell and an animal cell. Plant cells have a cellulose cell wall, but animal cells do not have a cell wall. Both plant cells and animal cells have a cell membrane, and both have a cytoplasm and also a nucleus. Plant cells have chloroplasts containing chlorophyll, but animal cells do not have chloroplasts. Plant cells often have large vacuoles containing cell sap, but animal cells have only small vacuoles. Plant cells often have starch grains, but animal cells never have starch. Sometimes they can have glycogen granules as their stored food. Because of the cell wall, plant cells have a regular shape, but animal cells are mostly irregular in shape. Structure of a bacterial cell. Bacteria are microscopic unicellular organisms, and they are prokaryotes because they do not have a well-organized nucleus. The DNA of a bacterial cell is found loose in the cytoplasm as a circular DNA, and this region is sometimes referred to as the nucleoid. Bacteria also have small circles of DNA called plasmids present in their cytoplasm. These plasmids are very special because they are found basically in bacterial cells, and scientists often use them in genetic modification. Bacterial cells also have a cell wall which is made up of a substance called peptidoglycan, and this cell wall also provides protection. Bacterial cells do not have any membrane-bound organelles such as mitochondria or chloroplasts, but ribosomes are present. They are not covered with a cell membrane. Ribosomes are lying in their cytoplasm. Some bacterial cells have one or more flagella which help them in movement. Many bacteria also have a special structure which is called the capsule. This capsule is found outside the cell wall and it has a protective function. Capsule can keep the bacterial cell from drying out.